Camera lights hit the glass like lightning as Atlanta's night air crackles with whispers. And you can feel it the moment the city stops scrolling and starts staring. Because tonight, in the middle of a storm nobody saw coming, Rasheeda steps out holding Kirk's hand, and the internet combusts. Outside Frost Bistro, cameras flash, fans yell, bloggers go live. And somewhere in the chaos a voice shouts, "She's sticking by him." After all that, screenshots, side-eyes, and shaky footage pour in from every angle. It isn't just a rumor anymore. It's a decision, and you're about to see the fallout. "Rasheeda, you good?" a friend whispers, breath fogging in the cool air. "I'm calm," she says, voice steady, eyes glossy. But calm ain't the same as quiet. Across the curb, Kirk lifts his chin like a man bracing for thunder. "We'll answer everything," he says, never letting go of her hand. But the crowd doesn't want answers, they want fire. Inside the bistro, staff peek through the blinds. Outside, a girl in a pink hoodie fans herself and mutters into her phone. "Nah, this can't be real. She's not serious. Not after the messages." Another voice cuts in. "Screens don't lie, sis." A car honks, the noise rises like a siren. And then, like a match dragging across sandpaper, the whole block sparks. "Rasheeda," someone calls. "Why him? Why now?" A dozen microphones lunge forward. From the corner, a former friend maybe not leans against a dark SUV and says under her breath, "You know who really knows what happened? Not them." Behind every jaw-dropping headline, there's a room where the truth is negotiated, traded, denied. And tonight, that door swings open. Hearts are on the table. Receipts are in the group chats. A family brand is in the balance. Because if Rasheeda is choosing to stand by Kirk, the question isn't just whites, at what cost? Emotions run high. The family is left divided. Fans are shocked. And somewhere between the flashes and the whispers, a text tone pings one message that turns the night from messy to explosive. "Say it." Rasheeda breathes, not blinking. Kirk swallows. "They weren't supposed to see that." Welcome to the moment everything changes. The sun hadn't even fully risen when the gossip blogs dropped their first wave of headlines. And Atlanta was already buzzing like a beehive set on fire. Rasheeda chooses loyalty over logic. Read 1. Another screamed. Kirk's messy secrets revealed, and she's still standing by him. Twitter timelines exploded. Instagram stories turned into non-stop reposts. Even TikTok creators were lip-syncing to the leaked audio clips before breakfast. Fans weren't just talking, they were furious. One fan stitched a video of Rasheeda walking into Frost Bistro hand-in-hand with Kirk and shouted into the camera, "Nah, ain't no way. After all that man put her through. After all them tears we saw on national TV. Sis, you embarrassing us now." But here's the kicker, the drama wasn't just on social media. Inside the Frost household, the tension was thicker than Georgia humidity. According to insiders, Rasheeda's phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the night before. Family members were torn. Some begged her to walk away, while others quietly whispered that maybe she was playing the long game, protecting her empire at any cost. Meanwhile, Kirk sat slouched on the living room couch, staring at the floor, the glow of his phone lighting up his guilty face. "I told you," he muttered under his breath. "It ain't even what they think it is." Rasheeda stood across the room, arms folded, diamonds flashing under the chandelier light. Her voice cracked like a whip. "Kirk, don't you dare minimize this. Don't you dare make me look crazy in front of these people again." But before he could even reply, the front door swung open. In walked Kelsey, Kirk's daughter, her eyes sharp, her phone in her hand. The screen pulled up with the receipts that had the internet foaming. "So y'all still gonna act like this ain't real?" she snapped, holding up the phone. "Because everybody already saw it. The group chat is dragging. Auntie already called me this morning. Grandma, mad. Y'all need to stop pretending." The room froze. Even the sound of the air conditioner seemed to pause. Rasheeda turned, slowly, her face unreadable. "Kelsey," she said carefully, "who sent you that?" And just like that, the story cracked open even wider because the receipts didn't just leak by accident. Someone wanted the world to know. And the Frost family. They were standing at ground zero of the blast. Emotions were raw. Betrayal was thick in the air. And still, somehow, Rasheeda wasn't letting go of Kirk's hand. Kirk's jaw clenched as he shifted on the couch, his hand twitching like he wanted to grab Kelsey's phone and smash it against the hardwood floor. But Rasheeda, standing tall with fire in her eyes, beat him to the punch. "Let me see it," she demanded, her voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. Kelsey hesitated, looking back and forth between her father and Rasheeda. Finally, she shoved the phone into Rasheeda's hand. On the screen was a series of blurry screenshots, late-night texts, secret meets, and one picture that sent Rasheeda's stomach dropping like an elevator with snapped cables. Kirk wasn't alone in that photo. He was leaning too close to a woman the internet already knew by name. Jasmine, Rasheeda whispered, almost choking on the word. Kirk immediately jumped to his feet, waving his hands defensively. Nah. That's old. That's recycled stuff from years ago. They pulling out the archives just to make us look bad again. You know how they do. But Rasheeda's silence was louder than his excuses. Her eyes burned into the photo, her lips trembling, her chest rising and falling, like a storm brewing inside her ribcage. Kelsey crossed her arms. Daddy, you said you was done with all that. You swore. Now you out here making me look stupid at school, making the whole family look crazy. Everybody DMing me like, what's your daddy on now? I'm tired. The words hit Kirk like punches, but Rasheeda was the one who took the deepest blow. Still, in true Rasheeda fashion, she straightened her back, set the phone down on the table, and turned to face both of them. You think I don't know what this looks like? She said, her voice shaking but strong. You think I don't know what people's saying about me right now? About us? My mentions are on fire. Fans calling me weak, stupid, blind. They don't understand why I'm here. But let me make one thing clear. What happens in this house is bigger than what happens on those blogs. Kirk blinked, stunned. So? You believe me? Rasheeda shot him a glare that nearly knocked the breath out of him. Don't twist my words. Believing you and standing with you are two different things. I may stand by you, Kirk, but that don't mean I trust you. The air snapped with electricity. Kelsey opened her mouth to speak, but before she could, a loud knock echoed at the door. Everyone turned. Another knock, harder this time. Rasheeda narrowed her eyes. Who the hell is that at this hour? Kirk swallowed hard. I think I know. Because sometimes, the past doesn't just haunt, it shows up uninvited, ready to burn the house down all over again. The knock boomed again, louder, sharper. Like whoever was outside was determined to rattle the Frost's front door right off its hinges. Rasheeda's heart skipped, and for a split second, she considered not opening it at all. But the whispers from outside were too familiar, too heavy. She exchanged a look with Kirk, and his face told the whole story, fear mixed with guilt. The look of a man who already knew what storm was waiting on the other side. Kelsey, defiant as ever, rolled her eyes and stomped toward the door. Since y'all won't move, I'll do it myself. Kelsey, don't, Rasheeda hissed, but it was too late. The door flung wide open, and there she was, Jasmine Washington, standing in the dim porch light with her arms folded, chin tilted, and a smirk that could slice Atlanta's skyline in half. Well, Jasmine purred, her voice dripping with satisfaction. Ain't this cute? Family meeting without me. Kirk groaned under his breath. Not tonight, Jasmine. But Jasmine wasn't there to play games. Her eyes locked on Rasheeda with a kind of boldness that said she had come for war. Oh no, Kirk. Tonight is exactly the night. Because his jaw dropped. So it is real. Jasmine smirked. Baby girl, ask your daddy. He knows where he was last week, and he knows who was with him. Rasheeda inhaled sharply, her knuckles whitening as she gripped the edge of the table for balance. The internet had seen enough to speculate, but hearing Jasmine say it out loud, that was a whole different level of humiliation. Kirk stepped forward, trying to tower over Jasmine, but his voice cracked. You need to leave now. You don't get to come in my house and stir this up. Jasmine's laugh was like nails on a chalkboard. Your house. Please. Everything you got is because she built it. Don't get it twisted. And you lucky I ain't live streaming this right now, because the world would eat it up. Rasheeda finally snapped. This right now, because the world would eat it up. Rasheeda finally snapped. Jasmine, cut the act. You think this is funny? You think I don't already know how you operate? You've been trying to break us since the day you popped up, and guess what? I'm still here. I'm still standing next to my husband. So what does that say about you? The tension in the room was suffocating. Kelsey's eyes darted between all three of them, her phone still in her hand, recording just in case things got physical. And honestly, it looked like it might. Jasmine took one slow step inside, ignoring Kirk's protest. It says you're a fool, Rasheeda, and deep down, you know it. Fans know it. Everybody knows it. You standing by him don't make you strong, it makes you look desperate. And the sad part, he still ain't gone. Change? The words pierced Rasheeda's chest, but instead of crumbling, she laughed low, bitter, and cold. You want to know what makes me different from you? Jasmine, I don't need validation from strangers. My business, my marriage, my decisions, they ain't for you to understand. You thrive off scandal, but I thrive off strategy. And if I decide to stand by Kirk, best believe it ain't weakness, it's control. Kirk looked at her, stunned, almost like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. For once, Rasheeda wasn't just defending him, she was owning the narrative. But Jasmine wasn't backing down. Oh, control. Jasmine scoffed. So is that what you call it when he's sneaking behind your back? Control. Or maybe it's just fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of losing the empire you two built? Cause let's be real, Rasheeda, without this messy marriage, y'all don't got a storyline. And you know it. That last line cut deep. Not just to Rasheeda, but to Kirk too. The ugly truth was out. This wasn't just about love. It was about brand, image, survival. And fans watching from the outside had no clue how entangled it really was. Kelsey slammed her phone down on the counter, fed up. Enough. Both of y'all. I'm sick of this circus. Mama, you don't deserve this. Daddy, you promised us better. And Jasmine, you just messy. All of y'all making a fool out of me and everybody with the Frost name. And I'm not doing it anymore. Tears welled in her eyes, but her voice never wavered. You know what the fans say at school? They say I'm the girl with the trifling daddy and the mama who's too blind to leave him. Y'all might live off drama, but it ruins my life. And I'm done. The silence after her outburst was deafening. Even Jasmine seemed caught off guard. Kirk stepped toward his daughter, reaching for her shoulder, but she jerked away. No. Kelsey snapped. Don't touch me. Fix it, or lose me too. She stormed out, the front door slamming so hard the frame rattled. For a long moment, no one spoke. Rasheeda stared at the door, her heart breaking, but her pride locking the pain inside. Kirk looked like a man unraveling. Jasmine, on the other hand, smirked like she'd just won. This right here, Jasmine said, her tone almost gleeful. This is why you should have never stood by him. Cause the only thing he's loyal to is chaos. That was it. Rasheeda snapped, lunging forward with fire blazing in her eyes. Get out of my house before I show you just how much chaos I can bring. Jasmine laughed again but backed toward the door, tossing her hair dramatically. I'll leave, but trust me, the fans ain't done. They've chosen sides already. And spoiler alert, you're on the wrong one. The door slammed shut behind her, leaving Rasheeda and Kirk alone in the wreckage of the night. Rasheeda turned slowly, locking eyes with Kirk. Her voice was low, controlled, but lethal. You better pray to God that girl is lying. Because if she's not, I'm not just standing by you, I am standing on your grave. Kirk opened his mouth, desperate to explain. But before he could, Rasheeda's phone buzzed on the table. She glanced down and froze. It wasn't a random notification, it was a DM from a verified account. Attached was a video file. Her stomach twisted as she pressed play. On the screen, clear as day, was Kirk laughing, drinking, leaning way too close to Jasmine in a hotel lobby just days ago. The date and timestamp were undeniable. Her face went pale. The room seemed to spin. So it's true? She whispered. Kirk panicked. No, listen. It's not what it looks like. I was meeting her about child support. About the boy. That's all it was. Rasheeda's laugh was hollow. Child support. In a hotel lobby at midnight. Do you even hear yourself? You think I'm stupid. He reached for her, but she pulled back like his touch was poison. Tears welled in her eyes, but she held them back, refusing to let him see her break. You embarrassed me. Again, she said, voice trembling. You embarrassed our family, our kids. And still, I stood by you. I defended you. I looked my fans in the eye and told them we were solid. And you gave me this in return. Kirk dropped his head, ashamed. I messed up. I know I did. But you my wife, Sheeda. You my heart. Don't let this destroy us. Please. The begging in his voice was raw, but it wasn't enough. The damage was already done. The next morning, headlines exploded. Leaked hotel video of Kirk Frost and Jasmine goes viral. Paparazzi swarmed Frost Bistro. Fans outside held up signs and defending Rasheeda, others calling her Queen of Denial. Hashtags like #LeaveHimSis and #Team RASHEEDA trended for hours. Meanwhile, Rasheeda sat alone in her bedroom, scrolling through thousands of comments. Some sympathetic, most ruthless. She deserves better. Why's she so scared to leave? Kirk clowning her in 4,000 and she's still riding for him. Her brand, her reputation, her empire was all on the line. And yet, deep down, Rasheeda knew something the fans didn't. Leaving Kirk might win her sympathy, but standing by him? That kept the Frost empire intact. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. Her eyes red but her chin high. They think I'm weak, she whispered to herself. But watch me turn this into power. Because if there's one thing Rasheeda Frost knows, it's how to take a scandal and spin it into gold. And just when fans thought the drama couldn't get any messier, a cryptic Instagram story from Mona Scott Young dropped. Meet me in Atlanta. Cameras rolling. This season just got real. The screen went black, and the city braced for the fallout. Atlanta woke up the next morning like the city had been slapped awake by the loudest alarm clock in the world. The hotel footage had already made its rounds through every gossip blog. talk show, and podcasts before the sun even burned through the horizon. Cars honked down Peachtree Street, radios blared with heated debates, and even in the barbershops, folks weren't talking about the Falcons or the weather they were dissecting. Kirk Frost's midnight rendezvous, like it was breaking news from CNN. At Frost Bistro, lines formed outside not for the food, but for the spectacle. Fans wanted to see Rasheeda walk through those doors. Some came to cheer her on. Others came to call her a fool to her face. Reporters shoved microphones at anyone who claimed to know the Frosts, even waiters from the restaurant. Inside, staff whispered nervously, unsure if they even had jobs by the end of this mess. Meanwhile, inside the Frost home, Rasheeda sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone. The video replayed again and again, each time stabbing deeper into her chest. Kirk hovered in the doorway, his face gray, his eyes hollow. He had rehearsed apologies all night, but none of them felt strong enough to break through the wall Rasheeda had built around herself. "Sheeda," he finally said, his voice rough. "Say something to me." She turned, her eyes glassy but sharp. "What do you want me to say?" "Kirk, that it's fine, that I believe you, that we gone just sweep this under the rug and keep smiling for the cameras. Nah, I've been here before. I've forgiven before. And look where it got me." Kirk stepped closer, desperation in his movements. "I know I messed up, but don't let the blogs write our story. Don't let Jasmine win. We bigger than this." Rasheeda laughed bitterly. Our whole life is a storyline now. Our marriage ain't even ours anymore. It belongs to the fans, the producers, the trolls on Twitter. You gave them the ammo, and now they firing it at me." The words hung heavy in the air until her phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a DM, it was a call. The name flashing on the screen made Kirk's stomach churn. "Mona." Rasheeda hesitated, then answered. "Hello." On the other end, Mona's voice was smooth, calm, but laced with urgency. "Sheeda, I'm sure you already know why I'm calling. I don't got time for cameras right now." "Mona," Rasheeda said flatly. "Oh, but the cameras got time for you," Mona countered. "The footage is viral. The fans are foaming at the mouth. This isn't just scandal. It's a season in the making. And you have a choice. Either let them control your narrative, or you control it yourself. You know how this works." Rasheeda closed her eyes. Control. That word again. She opened them, glanced at Kirk, then said quietly, "What you need from me." Mona didn't hesitate. "We're filming tonight. Frost Bistro. You, Kirk, Jasmine. The fans deserve a face. Don't worry, I'll make sure it's explosive." Before Rasheeda could respond, Mona hung up, leaving nothing but a buzzing silence behind. Kirk's jaw dropped. "Sheeda, you can't. Don't let her drag us into another circus." Rasheeda turned to him slowly, her voice low and venomous. "Circus." "Kirk." "The circus started." Slowly, her voice low and venomous. "Circus." "Kirk." "The circus started the moment you stepped foot in that hotel lobby. Now guess what? We gone sell tickets." That night, Frost Bistro looked less like a restaurant and more like a gladiator arena. Camera crews swarmed. Security held back the screaming fans, and inside, lights were set up to catch every tear, every glare, every word. Rasheeda sat at the head of a long table, looking regal in a sleek black dress. Her makeup flawless but her eyes betraying exhaustion. Across from her, Kirk fidgeted like a man awaiting sentencing. And then, fashionably late, Jasmine strutted in wearing red, a deliberate choice. A warning shot. The moment she sat down, Rasheeda's jaw tightened. "You just couldn't stay away, huh?" Jasmine smirked. "Why would I? The fans want to see me? They always do. I bring the fire. You bring excuses." The crowd gasped. Cameras zoomed in. Kirk slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. Stop trying to tear this family apart." Jasmine turned on him with a glare. "Family? Don't forget, you got another family, Kirk. A son who looks just like you. Or did you forget about that too?" The room erupted in chaos. Producers shouted for quiet, but the fans outside screamed louder. Rasheeda clenched her fists, her voice trembling but deadly. "This ain't about the past. This is about right now. And right now, you dragging me through the mud again. But let me tell you something, Jasmine, you don't break me. You don't get to win." Jasmine leaned forward, her eyes glittering with malice. "Oh baby, I already won. You sitting here defending a man who keeps embarrassing you? You think the fans respect that? They pity you. And pitiful ain't power." Rasheeda's face hardened. She inhaled deeply, then stood, the cameras catching every second of her rise. "You right about one thing, Jasmine. Pitiful ain't power. But you know what is? Owning your truth. And my truth is, yeah, I chose to stand by my husband. Not because I'm blind. Not because I'm weak. But because this is chess, not checkers. While you out here chasing clout, I'm securing legacy. And when the cameras stop rolling, guess who still got the empire? Me. The crowd roared, some cheering, some booing, the noise spilling into the Atlanta night. Kirk looked at her like she had just thrown him a lifeline, but Rasheeda didn't even glance his way. Later that night, the scene aired uncut on social media before it even hit television. Fans dissected every look, every word, every tear. Some praised Rasheeda for her strength. Others dragged her for standing by a man they swore didn't deserve her. Hashtags like hashtag Team Legacy and hashtag Dump Kirk now battled for dominance. Back at home, alone in her room, Rasheeda stared at herself in the mirror again. The world thought she was broken, but deep down, she felt something else because, for once, she wasn't reacting to the scandal. She was using it, but just when she thought she had regained control, her phone buzzed one more time. This time, it wasn't Mona, it wasn't fans. It was an unknown number. The message was short, chilling, and to the point. If you think the hotel video was bad, wait till you see what's next. He's been lying about more than Jasmine. Her blood ran cold. The camera faded to black, leaving fans screaming into their phones, desperate for answers. And Rasheeda, she knew the real storm hadn't even hit yet. The message hung there on the screen like a blade catching the light. If you think the hotel video was bad, wait till you see what's next. He's been lying about more than Jasmine. Rasheeda didn't move for a full 15 seconds. The house was quiet. Too quiet, no cicadas in the yard. No hum of the dishwasher. Just the sharp tick-tick-tick of the hallway clock puncturing the silence. She finally typed back one word. Proof. 3 dots pulsed. Then stopped. They returned. Then vanished again. Whoever it was wanted the upper hand. A final buzz landed with a second text. Meet tonight. No cameras. Edgewood Lot. Midnight. Come alone. She stared at the words, then at her reflection. She could hear Mona's clean producer voice in her head. Never go alone. Always bring a mic. Think audience. But the audience had already devoured her once this week. She didn't need a performance. She needed the truth. She grabbed a hoodie, slid it over her silk slip, and tucked her phone into her pocket. On her way out, she hesitated outside the guest room door where Kirk had been sleeping since Frost Bistro. She nudged it open. Kirk was awake, sitting on the edge of the bed in the glow of his phone. He looked up like a kid caught stealing. "Sheeda, I ain't sleep." "That's obvious," she said, her voice flat. "I'm going out. At this hour, where?" He stood, heart thudding, as if the floorboards could hear it. "Somewhere you don't get to follow," she said. Then, softer, because old love can't help being kind. "Lock the door behind me." He nodded, but his eyes tracked her like a man who could see the end of a story and didn't like the ending. Atlanta after midnight breathed a different kind of heat, quiet, watchful, the kind that made streetlights look like interrogations. Edgewood Lot was mostly empty, just a pair of cars parked nose to nose, a flickering bulb, and someone leaning on a hood with their face tucked in shadow. Rasheeda killed her engine, left the headlights on, and stepped out. Chin high. "You called me. So talk." The figure pushed off the car and stepped forward. It wasn't Jasmine. It wasn't a random troll. It was a woman Rasheeda recognized instantly, an ex-employee from Frost Bistro. Hair tucked under a cap, cheeks hollowed by nerves or regret. "I shouldn't be doing this," the woman said, "but after that video, I couldn't sleep." Rasheeda's jaw tightened. "You were fired because you stole inventory." "Because I asked questions," the woman said, flipping a manila envelope onto the hood. "Questions about the money. About who was paying who and from which account. He keeps everything neat, but not neat enough." Rasheeda stared at the envelope. "What is it?" "Receipts," the woman said. "Not the internet kind. The IRS kind. Private payments from a shell company tied to a P.O. box off Candler Road. Monthly some to Jasmine, some to others." Rasheeda's vision went soft around the edges, as if her eyes refused to take in any more. "Others who?" The woman wet her lips, fearful. "A studio assistant, a promoter, someone saved in his phone only as L. I don't know, but it's real. And if the fans ever saw this, girl, the city would explode." Rasheeda's fingers hovered over the envelope, then closed around it. "Why bring this to me?" "Because I worked 18-hour shifts in your kitchen and watched you carry that whole brand on your back," the woman said, voice catching. "I watched you take pictures with every fan and cut checks for charity and then go home to a man who, you deserve to know before Mona turns it into a trailer. You deserve to decide who you are in this story." Rasheeda squeezed the envelope so tight it creased. "If you're lying, I will bury you. You understand?" The woman nodded once. "Heart, I ain't lying." She slipped back into the shadow, climbed in her car, and rolled away without looking back. Rasheeda slid into the driver's seat and tore open the envelope with trembling hands. Photocopies spilled across her lap. Wire transfers. A debit card statement tied to a corporation she didn't recognize. Text printouts with dates circled in red. One page made her suck in air so fast she choked. A charge labeled Capital Suites Executive Level 2. Keys issued, the date matching the hotel footage night, followed by a small, vicious note. Settle monthly. Her hands shook. She gathered the papers, shoved them under her hoodie, and drove home in a blur, the city lights streaking like tears. Back inside, she didn't confront Kirk. Not yet. Instead, she went to her office, locked the door, and laid everything out like a battle map. The neat rows of numbers mocked her. She thought about fans typing in all caps under her posts, about girls in pink hoodies screaming at barricades, about mothers DMing her leave him. Queen like a chorus of aunties who'd learned the hard way. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. Fans were shocked. And here she was, the general of a war she never asked for, forced to choose between mercy and execution. Her phone buzzed again. Kelsey, Mama, I'm at Grandma's. I needed space. Did you see TikTok? It's everywhere. You okay? Rasheeda typed back, fingers steadier than her heart. I'm okay, baby. I love you. Come home tomorrow. We talk then. A typing bubble. Then, I love you too. She closed her eyes, let the message soften her for one breath, then reopened the file named Frost Entities. The shell company was called Treston Hill Media. She'd never heard of it. She Googled, but the Secretary of State site was down for maintenance, because of course, it was. She picked up her phone and dialed one person who never sugarcoated anything. Her mama answered on the second ring, voice sharp even at 1 a.m. Why you calling when you know I was almost asleep? Ma, Rasheeda whispered, throat thick. I think I found something worse than the video. Charlene's voice softened a hair. Come by in the morning. We'll dig through it together. And baby, stop crying. He don't deserve your tears. I'm not crying, Rasheeda lied. I'm planning. Morning hit like a. Kirk reached for her. Please don't do this without me. She looked at him, everything inside her, a storm and then a smooth, glassy lake. You already did it without me. They left through the back alley to avoid the mob. Even there, fans materialized like ghosts. One woman, eyes glossy, pressed a hand to her chest and whispered, We love you, Rasheeda. Please love you, too. Back in the car, Rasheeda's phone cracked alive again. Another unknown number. She answered, voice cool. Yes. A familiar voice slipped through, silky and dangerous. Jasmine, saw your little sit down, she cooed. Cute, but you forgot a piece. Rasheeda smiled, slow and merciless. Try me. You think those payments stop with me? Jasmine said. You think I'm the headline? I'm the preview, baby. Ask him about the ring. Kelsey leaned in, put it on speaker. What ring? Rasheeda asked, fingers like ice on the steering wheel. Jasmine laughed. The one he bought in January. Not for you. Kelsey gasped, hand flying to her mouth. Charlene muttered a prayer that sounded suspiciously like a threat. Send the receipt, Rasheeda said. I'll do you better, Jasmine purred. Come to Capital Suites at 6. Suite 1903. Bring your cameras. Or don't. Either way, bring your spine. She hung up. Rasheeda sat for a long second, then set her phone down like it might explode. We're not going to a hotel, devoid of surprise. Nothing could surprise her now, a publicist, Mona said. And she's been quietly shopping a story. The pitch deck literally says, Queen chooses chaos. Why Rasheeda stays. If this goes public, they'll turn your pain into a TED Talk. A bolt of lightning stitched the horizon. Thunder rolled in like drums. Kelsey gripped the door handle until her knuckles went white. What do we do? Rasheeda put the car in gear. We decide what story we tell first. They skipped the radio. They skipped the hotel. They went home and filmed for themselves. No crew, no director, no boom mic. Just a phone on a tripod and 3 women at a kitchen island with stacks of paper. Rasheeda looked into the lens and said, You will hear things about my marriage. Some will be true. Some will be strategic. Here's what matters. I am not weak. I am not naive. I am not for sale. I am protecting my family while demanding the truth from the man who promised it. She stopped, swallowed, then added, and if he can't give it, I will. They didn't post it. Not yet. They saved it like a chess piece and let the city wonder. At 5:30, a black SUV crept up the driveway. Kirk got out, looking older than the morning, carrying a small velvet box like it might burn him. He stepped into the kitchen, saw the tripod, the papers, the women who loved him and were prepared to leave him, and exhaled a sound that wasn't quite a sob. "I bought it," he said, holding up the box. "For you." "January," Kelsey said, crossing her arms. "Don't lie." "For our vow renewal," he said softly, opening the lid. Inside, a ring stunning, arrogant, bright as a confession. I thought after everything, we could write a new chapter. I didn't give it to you because I didn't deserve to." And then it all got worse. Rasheeda stared at the stone and saw all the versions of her life refracted in it. Girl who fell in love with a dreamer. The woman who built an empire with her bare hands. The mother who refused to let her daughter normalize disrespect. "Who is Elle?" she asked. He closed the box. "Lena, a publicist. She told me if I stayed ahead of the blogs, I could control the story. She said I should make a private company to handle complications. She said it would protect you. I thought I was protecting us. I was protecting me." Lightning flashed again. The kitchen filled with white for a blink. Jasmine said, "There's more." Rasheeda murmured, "Is there?" He didn't speak. The silence was an answer. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. Fans were shocked, and in the heartbeat that followed, the front door knocked like destiny. Kelsey stiffened. "If that's a camera, it ain't," Charlene said, moving like a linebacker to the foyer. She opened the door to find a courier with a manila envelope and a signature line. "For Ms. Frost," the courier said. "Time sensitive." She signed, shut the door, handed it off. Rasheeda slit the seal with a fingernail and slid out a single page. A court notice, subpoena for records related to Treston Hill Media. Date of hearing, 2 weeks. Kirk leaned against the counter like his knees had given up. "It's already in motion." Rasheeda folded the paper with surgeon's precision. "Good. Maybe the law can do what love couldn't." Her phone buzzed. A live notification. Jasmine had started an Instagram live at Capitol Suites. 30,000 viewers already watching. The preview showed a hand and a second velvet box on a hotel table. Kelsey's eyes flared. "Not at all surprised. Baby, you remember when I told you a man will show you who he is? And after that, it's on you because now you know. Consider yourself knowing." Rasheeda rubbed her temples. "It ain't that simple. There's the business, the kids, the brand. The brand is you." Charlene snapped, tapping the table. "Frost Bistro is you. Pressed is you. The music, hell, even the patience. That's you. He a liability with nice sneakers." A laugh rose in Rasheeda's chest and died there. "He said the hotel was about child support. And I wore heels through 2 pregnancies," Charlene deadpanned. "We all tell stories." Before Rasheeda could respond, the door opened and Kelsey stepped in, hair wrapped, eyes swollen from crying. She saw the papers and stiffened. "So it's worse." Rasheeda nodded once. "It might be." Kelsey sank into a chair. "Fans DM'd me videos of Dad in the lobby from different angles. Somebody even slowed it down and added sad music. They clowning us? They clowning me." Charlene clucked her tongue and slid a mug of coffee toward her granddaughter. "You think I care about people who spell your wrong in the comments? Baby, family's been surviving foolish men since Eve. The difference is, y'all's family got a hashtag. Fans are shocked." Kelsey said hollowly. "The family is left divided. That's what they're saying on the blogs like it's a movie trailer." Rasheeda pulled Kelsey close by the shoulders. "They don't get to decide what we are. We do." Her phone rang. "Mona." Rasheeda put it on speaker. "Ladies," Mona said, voice buttery and brisk. "How are we feeling for today?" "Like pulling the plug," Charlene muttered. Mona chuckled, unfazed. "That might be the title. Listen, the sit-down is at 3. We'll let Rasheeda open, then Kelsey shares, then bring in Kirk for his perspective. And curveball, I can get Carly Red to pop in with a friend of the family angle. You know she stirred the pot." "Absolutely not," Charlene barked. But Kelsey looked up, a dangerous spark in her eye. "No, let her come. Let all of them come. If we're gonna be the circus, then roll out every clown and give me a sledgehammer." Mona grinned through the phone. "Now that's TV." At 2:57 p.m., Frost Bistro transformed into a courtroom with appetizers. Cameras lined up, light panels washed the room in soft gold, and the front windows were blacked out. Fans pressed to the glass anyway, like fish at a tank, hoping to catch a ripple of rage. Rasheeda walked in first, dressed in winter white power from shoulder to ankle, hair sleek, eyes unblinking. Kelsey followed, then Charlene, who ignored the producer offering a mic pack and said, "I don't need a mic. I project." Kirk entered last, jaw blocked tight, tie a little crooked like he'd dressed in a rush. When his eyes found Rasheeda's, they softened. He started toward her, but the director held up a hand. Positions. We open on Rasheeda. The red light blinked. Silence became performance. My name is Rasheeda, she began, voice steady, and the internet thinks I'm a fool this week. A murmur rippled. She held up a palm, quieting a room that she had fed and clothed and entertained for a decade. Let me say this, and I want you to hear me with your whole chest. Standing by someone doesn't mean you're blind. It means you're making a choice. I made a choice, and I'm still making choices today. Kirk's Adam's apple bobbed. Baby, please. She lifted a folder, the manila envelope, now pristine and mean under stage lights. Before we bring in our friend of the family, I want to tell you why I'm here. I'm here because I found out there's more than a hotel lobby. There's a company I never signed off on. There are payments I didn't authorize. There are lies that don't belong to Jasmine. A gasp cracked the room. Somewhere, a fan outside squealed like a kettle. Bring him a chair, Charlene told a production assistant dryly, because the truth got weight. Kirk licked his lips, sweat wringing his hairline. Sheeta, we can talk about that at home. No, she said simply. We can't. The director flicked 2 fingers. A side door opened and Carly Red tottered in on stilettos that could carve ice. She blew kisses to no one in particular, claimed a chair like a throne, and whispered, "Hey, y'all," as if she hadn't been invited here to detonate landmines. Since you love the tea, Rasheeda said without looking at Carly, you can sip this. Treston Hill Media. That name mean anything to you? Carly's smile flickered. A few promoters use it. Why? Because my husband formed it without me, Rasheeda said, eyes on Kirk. And through it, he made payments that didn't come across our books. Carly blinked. Oop, Kelsey leaned in. To who? Daddy. Kirk's mouth opened, then closed. This ain't what y'all think. The producer in the headset whispered push, and Mona's voice slid through the room like an invisible tide. Ask him about the P.O. box. Rasheeda held up a printout with the address, Candler Road. You're gonna tell me right now who L is and why you used a P.O. box instead of the office. For the first time since everything started, Kirk looked truly small. L is a lawyer. For the boy, then why the hotel? Kelsey shot back. Lawyers own offices. Because sometimes, Carly said gently, eyes flicking between them, men don't want to be seen. You here for insight or instigation? Charlene asked her, arching one razor-sharp brow. Carly's smile was tight. I'm here because I care about y'all. MHM, said Charlene. And I'm a ballerina. The room laughed, then quieted just as quickly. The red light burned on. Kirk rubbed his forehead like he could erase the past with friction. I messed up. I was trying to keep mess away from the house. It got bigger. I thought, if I could handle it, we wouldn't have to have another season like last time. So you filmed a worse one, Rasheeda said, voice low. Off camera doesn't mean off consequence. A producer waved frantically from the doorway. We have someone outside claiming to be the accountant for Treston Hill. He says he has documents. Mona's voice dropped like a gavel. Bring him in. A man in a blazer, 2 sizes too big, stepped in, clutching a folder like a life raft. He looked young, scared, and honest in the specific way only someone with receipts looks. Ms. Frost, I've been trying to reach you for days. Who are you? Kirk demanded. Logan. The man said, I freelance for a lot of small media entities. Treston Hill contracted me to keep their books off the grid. I didn't know it was you, he said to Rasheeda. If I had, I wouldn't have taken the job. Show me, Rasheeda said. He opened the folder and revealed ledger pages, routing numbers. A list of monthly automatic payments with initials and memo lines. One memo made the room tilt. Retainer Lena PR. Discretion. Lena, Carly said, eyes sparkling like a cat who'd found a window full of birds. Not Lena from the club scene. Charlene slapped the table. If y'all don't stop naming extras like they main cast. But the memo lines kept cutting. Travel stipend, JW apartment. Soundproof deposit, studio room. V-Day Roses X200. Kirk's voice was sand. Logan, leave. Logan swallowed. I can't, because the IRS called me. They asked about Treston Hill. They said there's a flag. And if they dig, they're not just going to find the hotel. They're going to find everything. You need to get ahead of it. A silence so loud it howled through the room. Outside, fans pressed their faces harder to the glass, as if they could taste the truth on their tongues. Cut, the director whispered. No, Mona said, voice crackling through the IFB. We stay. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. Fans were shocked. And in the nucleus of it, Rasheeda felt an astonishing kind of calm, the calm of a woman who has finally mapped the battlefield. She stood. This is what's going to happen, she said quietly. We're going to pay what we owe. We're going to tell the truth. And we're going to do it my way. Kirk looked up, desperate. Does my way include me? She didn't answer him. She turned to Kelsey. Baby, I need you to go to Grandma's and pack an overnight bag. We're not staying at the house tonight. Kelsey blinked. Where we going? Somewhere quiet, Rasheeda said. Somewhere I can hear myself think without hearing the internet. Carly stood, suddenly serious. Do you want me to run interference outside? I can talk to the bloggers. Charlene eyed her. If you can keep your mouth from sprinkling glitter on the fire. Yes. Tell them the family is meeting with accountants. Tell them Rasheeda is handling business like a boss. No tears. No breakdown. Copy. Carly said, surprisingly steady, and slipped toward the door, a shield where she was normally a sword. When the cameras finally cut, the room deflated like a lung. Crew members swarmed, dismantling lights, rolling up cords. Logan shook as he handed over the last paper. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't know. Rasheeda squeezed his arm. Knowing now is what counts. Thank you is what counts. Thank you.